Most people think moving to Lubbock, Texas is all about no state income tax, having fun, shooting guns, maybe drinking a couple beers. But what if I told you real estate agents might not always tell you the truth about our great city? And sometimes do it in such a way that might completely deter you from wanting to move to Lubbock. So this video is going to seek to answer 3 key questions. And yes, I am wearing a wedding ring. I did get married. Thank you very much. Round of applause, everybody. That's kind of why the video production has been a little bit slow lately. Was planning that. Did the honeymoon, got the married thing, all that. But this video is going to answer 3 key questions. The first question is going to be, is Lubbock really as affordable as people think, or are there some hidden costs that may be getting you while you're not looking? Number 2, or what are some major challenges that people feel when moving to Lubbock that other people might not talk about? The third, is Lubbock really a dream destination that people have come to expect, or is it something altogether different? After helping countless families relocate to Lubbock, I've seen it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. I've been in the weeds, I got my hands dirty, so I'm gonna give you the answers to all 3 of these amazing questions. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's start with number 1, the most obvious of all of these. And if you're watching this video, you might be thinking about purchasing a home here, in which case, thank you very much for clicking. So let's talk about the housing and real estate market. Now, we all know that owning a home and planning for that American dream in Lubbock is easier than so many places across the country. However, the things that may get you that people really do not expect are going to be property taxes. Yes, that's right, folks. In our great city, it can range from about 1.5% all the way up to like 2.8% in some areas. It just varies differently and drastically, and you gotta pay those taxes, or let me tell you, Uncle Sam is gonna come find you. He's gonna come get you. He knows what he's doing. So property taxes are one thing that a lot of people don't factor in. They don't realize just how expensive it's gonna be. Remember, we don't have a state income tax here in Texas. We do have a property tax though, so that's where they get homeowners, is on the property tax. So that's something to consider greatly. Another thing you're gonna wanna consider a lot that has risen drastically in just the whole state of Texas over the past 5 years, really since COVID, is gonna be the cost of insurance. Home insurance has gone up, auto insurance has gone up, just all around insurance going up, man. And if you need some good places to shop for good insurance, I can help you out with that too. I got some really good folks that help me out with my stuff, so I can get you in front of the right people there as well. I will say this though, going off the affordable thing in Lubbock, Texas, a 2% property tax rate on a house in Lubbock is still significantly better than, 2% property tax rate on a $500,000 house in Dallas. That difference between like $6,000 and 12 or 15 really does make a difference, because a lot of people choose not to escrow their taxes into their payments, and they have to just pay a giant lump sum at the end of the year. Now, fortunately, a good way to get around this is to file a homestead exemption, which will lower your property taxes. And please do this if you're moving to Lubbock. Make sure if it's your residence that you homestead, because that will save you some good money. Now, let's branch off of that affordable thing, like what I was just talking about, and thinking the mindset that a lot of people have when they're moving to Lubbock is they go, oh, well, that's affordable. That's great. This house in my city would be worth $400,000. And yes, that's an okay way to think. However, sometimes you don't want to gear completely towards that, because more affordable does not always mean better. In fact, more often than not in Lubbock, it doesn't. And that's not me trying to get you to just buy a more expensive house. I'm trying to save you a lot of headache. Now, there are still good deals and good things to be bought for around that price range. Just by and large, you need to be cautious about where you are, what filters you are using in terms of what's great or not. Because if something in that price range is exactly what you're looking for, then that's awesome. Go for it. If it's not, and you're looking for something that's probably in the $250 price range or whatever, then you got to readjust your strategy there. A lot of people are just so focused on imposing their market standards if it's in a different state. Like if you're watching in Washington or California or wherever, and you're like, gosh, that house would be $1 million, but this house, that can be a good way to think, but you also need to make sure you're getting a quality product. Another thing to think and go. All this is just tying together. It's like a nice little cord. It's just stringing it all together. We're weaving it like a bunch of paper clips and making a necklace for ourselves. Another thing to go off of that is which neighborhoods have the best resale value. You want to make sure that your realtor, hopefully it's me, knows where places are good that are going to, maybe if you're thinking about removing in a couple of years, and you're just someone who wants to stay for a little bit, which house is going to retain its value. And a lot of folks may just think, oh, well, this neighborhood's new, it must retain its value. And that doesn't always happen, because our city is very contingent upon neighborhoods. You can have one super nice neighborhood right here, and then the next one not so nice. So that's something you want to make sure your realtor knows and you have an honest idea about, because I had some folks buy a house literally last April. It's currently April right now. They bought their house, we got a good deal on it, and then a year later they wanted to move somewhere else. They got a different job elsewhere, so we're selling it, and we were actually able to sell it and get under contract relatively quickly because we found a good house in a good neighborhood that retained its value, and we were able to sell it for more than what they bought it for. So that is something to think about very deeply. Another thing to consider is big ticket item right here is new construction homes versus pre-existing homes. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record in these videos. There are pros and cons to both. Big pros and big cons to both. And what I would recommend you doing if you're thinking about either is to shoot me an email. It will be down below. You can call my business line. However, it has become, disclaimer, it has become so filled with spam calls that it's really hard for me to discern who's who and whatnot. So I actually do prefer email. If you could email me, that would be great. I will represent you. I can facilitate your transaction and moving to Lubbock. Like I said, I'm a realtor. I have done this for countless families across the country, moved to our great city, and it's been fantastic. So new construction, pre-existing, let me know regardless. Go through me. Thank you very much. Mwah. So that kind of wraps up the housing deal. Let's move on to the next topic that's going to answer some of those three questions that we discussed at the beginning of the video. And the next topic is going to be the weather and the environment, which is arguably one of the biggest things that people consider too. And this one's going to be pretty brief because it's chaotic, okay? We are in Texas, so remember, one day it can be 40 degrees in March, the next day it can be 80. That just happens all across the state. So the biggest thing you're gonna face about the weather in Lubbock, Texas is gonna be hailstorms. Now, roofers, cutthroat business in Lubbock, and that's another reason why insurance is going up like crazy, is because of the amount of hailstorms we get, the amount of new roofs that get replaced every single year. It's kind of crazy. Have I seen any of those crazy hailstorms turn into massive F5 tornadoes in the 10 years that I've been in Lubbock, Texas? No, that has not happened. A lot of people are very concerned about tornadoes, rightfully so. I understand it. They're terrifying. They freak me out too. I've had to get when I was growing up, I had to get in my bathtub in Dallas and, put the mattress over, and I was crying and my dad was freaking out. We were all, doing the whole family thing. So yeah, it's scary, but is it a real threat? I would say no. So, it's kind of something where we've had a couple bad ones over the past century. However, by and large, I think if you look at most places, you're not going to see that. Plus, it seems like the tornadoes are moving east of the country. Like you're getting a lot more tornadoes in Tennessee and Alabama, and like Tornado Alley is kind of shifting away from us, I feel like. I'm not a meteorologist, nor do I pretend to be one. I kind of dress up as one though, but that ain't me. So yeah, hail is going to be the biggest thing. Also, the second biggest thing with hail, this is something that's it's not going to decompose your house necessarily or really affect the value of it, but it's the wind. It's the wind. I've talked about it at length. It gets windy, it gets dusty, it gets annoying, your teeth get gritty, it's like sandpaper's in there, it's frustrating. It is what it is. You learn to deal with it. Sometimes you just don't go outside, even if it's sunny and bright, because it's so dusty and gross, and it's just how it is. You will learn to live with it. Another thing to consider is the winters do get pretty cold. We do see a lot of freezes. And when it's windy and freezing, that sucks. It just sucks. Your eyes get glued shut with frost. It's boo. We don't like it. Okay, next we're gonna talk about lifestyle, daily living, economic factors, things people do for work, all of that stuff. It's gonna be an all-encompassing little topic here. So let's talk about the real cost of groceries and food and whatnot. I would say gas is definitely cheaper in Lubbock than it is in a lot of places in the state. That's because we're pretty close to Midland, Odessa, the Permian Basin, where a lot of oil is. And a lot of people do drill oil out of the ground close to Lubbock with oil, the derricks or whatever they are. Things go wee, 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 all over. You'll see them all over. So it's kind of a pseudo oil town. I mean, gas is going to be cheap. Groceries are going to be cheaper. Just by and large, there's more affordable places because they don't have to upcharge on things. It's like not as much competition. I'm sure we can kind of find a graph that we'll put here relatively, and you probably won't be able to see my face here, but it will break down some of the costs of groceries and gas and utilities and whatnot. It's so much more affordable than living in Dallas or Houston or San Antonio or Hawaii, for that matter, or most places in the country. It's great. Another thing, there is public transportation, okay? There are buses. They're mainly around the university though. You probably need a car if you're moving to Lubbock. It would be really good for you to have a car unless you're a college student and you're like, I'm just gonna chill here and do my thing and live around campus. You're not going to see a ton of shopping. If you look for the right spots, you're gonna find good shops, just like any city. There is a mall though, but I would recommend just going and finding hidden gem type shops. There's hole in the wall places that are really cool. They're just all sorts of really awesome fun. There's a place called Mountain Hideaway where you've got all sorts of climbing gear and outdoors gear, and I'm not very outdoorsy. My wife is, so we would go sometimes and just kind of check it out. If you're young, you might think about nightlife. There is a night scene. There are plenty of bars. There's Broadway, which is right across the street from the university, which a lot of college heroes and college students go to a lot, but probably south of town is where I'm going to bar hop at different places if I'm going. Having a driver or an Uber, as I do. Drink responsibly, folks. Yeah, all that jazz. And people, we got a great restaurant scene. We've got a ton of awesome places that you can eat. Now, it's hit or miss. That's what I'll say that people might lie to you about, is it is hit or miss. I mean, people always are braggadocious about our food, but you got to go to the right spots, because if you go to the wrong spots, you're not going to have the best experience. And the reason for this is because the competition in Lubbock is just not there as much as it is in a metropolitan city. Like, this quality of standard of food, they don't have to have as good a quality because there's not as much competition, which competition's a good thing. Don't let anyone tell you different. But yeah, so sometimes you'll go to a restaurant and you'll be like, man, my food's cold or blah, blah, blah. So find the good spots, get some recommendations, look it up online. It's all there. There's even a Facebook page called like Lubbock Foodies, and they've got all the best food restaurants to go to. So do that stuff. Get a guide. Get a guidebook. Okay, the next topic to cover is going to be traffic, and this one, my favorite. The traffic in Lubbock, not bad at all. Now, if you're coming from the middle of nowhere where you have no traffic because no one lives by you, then it's probably not as good as that. But if you come from a big city with big highways and lots of people, yes, it's going to blow that out of the water. Rarely, very rarely, does it take you more than 15 minutes to get from one side of town to the next. Maybe sometimes 20, but if you get on that loop-de-loop, you hop on, you do a little circle, go halfway across town, then you shoot out on maybe Indiana, University, Quaker, Slide, wherever, and you're going south, north, east, then you get on 98, you get on 114th, you're going to be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. It's super cool. If there's a wreck, yeah, it'll slow things down, but not drastically. I will say people driving in Lubbock, it's hit or miss. Like, some people are really good drivers, some people are really bad drivers. Mostly people are good. Like, to merge onto the loop, you're getting into an existing lane. So you just, like, if you get on the loop, you gotta make sure you're looking and going, okay, there's somebody here, so I'm gonna slow down or speed up. Don't just do that stalemate thing where both you look at each other. That's when wrecks happen. But I really rare, like, leaving work and coming, or leaving the office, going to the office, you just don't see it. It's not something I'm ever really worried about. Unless the caveat is there's a lot of construction. If there is construction, which there is, they're expanding Lubbock. We're moving south, and there's a big loop going from one end of town to the other one, and a new one. And the construction out there is tough. There's a lot going on, and yes, it's frustrating, but it's still not that bad. It still maybe will throw you off about 5 minutes from your commute. Our next topic to discuss is going to be the school system, the school districts. Now, what I will tell you from people I talk to, I'm not telling you where to move. I'm not telling you which school districts to look into, but a lot of people want to move into the Lubbock, Cooper, and Friendship ISDs. However, here's the caveat. They've got higher property taxes than Lubbock Independent School District, which is inside of the loop. Something to consider. The people who do know about the property tax thing, they're looking inside the loop because the property tax rate is better. Now, is it saving you a significant amount of money every year? Potentially, pay probably maybe $1,500, $2,000. That can really help a lot. That can go a long way. but the path of progress is kind of south-southwest. That's where a lot of stuff is moving. That's where all the new stuff is. It's growing. New high schools, new elementary schools, new middle schools, everything new. That's something that you want to keep in mind when you are factoring in where you want your kids to go to school. The school districts, the newer ones, are just better. They're ranked better across every metric just about, except for some of the magnet schools. It's just, I'm not telling you where to move. I'm just saying this is all public information, all ranked. And that's why a lot of people are moving to these newer school districts. Shallow water's another one to consider. Big elephant in the room, I discussed this on the one of the last videos I did, is the crime rate. Everyone wants to talk about the crime rate. If you look at a map of the crime data statistics in our town, you will see it's quite centralized. And going back off what I said earlier, the new stuff is gonna be safer, it's gonna be nicer, it's more expensive, yes, but it's still very affordable in the grand scheme of things. These are all things to factor in, and some people might not tell you that. I know I've got, consistent viewers and great folks that watch me, and I don't wanna lie to you guys, I wanna tell you the truth, so there it is. Okay, I think that was a pretty granular, pretty studied explanation of some of the questions we discussed at the beginning, and the truths and lies that people might tell you. And people don't just say, oh, it's great all the time, but a lot of it is really great. A lot of it makes the town great, or I wouldn't stay there and wouldn't be there. So it's not something that I want to just badmouth and talk bad about the whole time. I want to be honest, but there are things that are negative and it's worth discussing, and you kind of need to bring it up. Now let's get into the title of this video too, what real estate agents might not tell you. And because I happen to be a real estate agent, I feel like I can tell you these things because guess what? I just kind of know them, dude. So why an agent might not tell you the truths, a lot of these things, is because, well, number one, and the elephant's in the room now, let's shoot it and kill it, okay? We're gonna shoot the elephant, so there's no longer an elephant in the room. It's a dead elephant, it's gonna be, but I'm incentivized to make money. I think you are too, everyone is. And so when people call me and they say, hey, Andrew, want to buy a house? Well, of course that benefits me in my business, in my life, because I inevitably make a commission off of that. You want an agent to tell you that. You want an agent to disclose that to you, and we do legally have to do that now. So that's gonna happen. Now, it doesn't come from you, it comes from the seller. And the people that I represent, I'm gonna make sure to the best I can, to the best of my ability, that the seller is going to pay my commission. A law changed last year that made everyone think that buyers were gonna pay their buyer's agents. I will tell you this, nothing has really changed at all. Commissions just cannot be advertised on the MLS anymore. But sellers know they have to pay a buyer's agent commission to sell a house, or oftentimes they just won't. And also another reason that an agent might not be truthful about a lot of these things is because maybe they have a listing and you're interested in something in the range of where that listing is, and they go, hey, they might know, hey, this listing's not in the most favorable area, but it fits your criteria, and maybe you're out of state and you have no idea where it is. And so you call them and you go, great, let's put that in a contract, get a video of it, blah, 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 whatever. That's something that you just need to be aware of, and you want to make sure someone is telling you about that and saying, hey, these are some things you might consider, and here's some public information that you might look at to maybe discern some certain things about whatever. And you can't incriminate me for what I'm saying because I'm being very vague. I'm not saying really anything permanent about anything. So come at me, bro. And going off of that, here's something you just don't want to do. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe you don't like my hair. You don't like my style. You think I'm too silly or whatever. I will say I do quite a bit of business every year. I take this seriously. It's a full-time job for me. I don't do anything else. This is my full-time career. If you're not using me as a realtor, don't do this. Don't pick an agent who is part-time. Don't pick your cousin, don't pick your nephew, don't pick your spouse's best friend. If they don't do it full-time, don't use them. They do not know what they're doing as much as an agent who does it full-time does. That's an objective statement. It's fully true. If you sell 25 houses a year versus selling 3, the person who sells 25 just knows more about how it works than the person who sells 3. And it is a buyer's market, guys. Buyers are in the driver's seat in our market right now. I've mainly represented buyers over the past 5 years, and I do represent sellers, but mostly buyers. And I know how to find the deals. I know what to look for. I know what's out there. I know what to ask for, and I know what we can get because I represent buyers and I know what I'm doing in that regard. So you just want to make sure you're working with a full-time agent. Here's another reason I could be a good fit for you as an agent is that it's going to be a fun transaction. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a blast. You're going to love it. No, but really, I actually specialize. I mainly work with folks who are out of state or out of the city. That's my main bread and butter. This is how I get my business. This is how I get my leads, is from you guys watching and emailing me or texting me or whatever, and then making contact. And you say, I want to buy a house, and that's all I do. And it provides me with a good income. So it's very helpful for me. Hopefully it can be helpful for you too. And that's pretty much what I do. I specialize mainly in out-of-state, out-of-city folks. And you will be working directly with me. You won't be working with someone else. It'll be me you're working with. If you shoot me an email and you're ready to go and want to buy something, or maybe you're 6 months down the road or a year down the road. And I've done that with people, or 2 years down the road, where I just follow up with you, and I'm pretty decent at that. I'm a salesman, so I kind of have to be. And if it's not me, just make sure it's someone who is doing all those things full time. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I made a really all-encompassing video about everything Lubbock, everything going on there, and what agents might not tell you about moving to Lubbock, Texas. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, you can click on another one of my videos right here. You can go comment down below. You can like, you can smash that like button. You can subscribe. You can do all this. You don't have to do any of it. Do I recommend it? Yes. And we will see you guys on the next one. Toodles.